Thanks, everybody. We are back. As promised, I want to invite out Tim Draper from Navigant Credit Union. We talk a lot about innovation and local.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Doing great. It's Monday. It's a great day. It's beautiful out.
It
It's,
is absolutely beautiful day here in Providence, in the big
and,
city.
and it's Business Monday. So, every Monday, Saul Kaplan comes on. He'll be on in a little bit, and we talk about innovation and kind of what's going on in the Rhode Island economy. I think the saddest thing that's been in the discussions has been Benny's, great Rhode Island institution. And you hit us with some news this weekend, I think, which is the anti-Benny's. It's sort of the great story of here's a local, long-standing, 100-year-old, and you've got some big news. You guys are making a major expansion, and you're buying a couple branches from
Correct.
one of the big boys.
Well, yes, that's exactly right. We have made the announcement, did it last Thursday, that the Navigant Credit Union is expanding its South County expansion, which we really only announced a month ago. So we're pretty excited that we're going to add really 3 branches before the end of the year in South County. And that's for all you folks in South County who've been waiting for us, because we know there's some pent-up demand there. Hang on, just be another couple of months and we'll be there. It's big, yeah. It's new hiring. It's great. Yeah, we're excited.
And I Googled it, so I did the hard work.
Yeah.
Couple Webster bank branches.
Yeah.
Are 2 of the 3.
Yep. It's challenging in Rhode Island's market. There's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
There's a lot of branches around.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point, I think Citizens had 82 branches in Rhode Island. We only have 39 cities and towns. Right?
Yeah,
So,
right.
they have branches in Stop and Shop.
But 40 of them were on Block Island.
Maybe. I'm hoping for the Block Island expansion. That's my
Right.
next. That's my next.
Summer hours only.
That's right. I'm sorry. I got to take the company boat to get over there. Right. No, it's tough, and we recognize that, but it can work if you're focused, I think, on the right things.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. We try to really focus our attention on the member experience, which is the most important thing to us, and it's really the only thing that differentiates us from everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, we have banking products, right? It's not rocket science to make banking products. Give people access to the money that they have saved. What we try to do is we try to do it in a real, compassionate and helpful way, so that folks really do try and get to know our staff. And it's like going into Cheers in a lot of ways. People come into the bank branch and the people in Cumberland Hill will go, "Paul," my neighbor across the street, they know it. And consequently, he goes
Right.
because he likes the people that are there.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
they treat him well. And we try to do that across the board with everybody.
This expansion, though, I think, and a few years ago, it seemed like Webster and TD and all these out-of-state financial institutions thought, well, we'll come in. It was sort of the decline of Bank of America moving out of Rhode Island a little bit, or lessening their commitment here, and they thought, well, we'll come in there. And it's not as easy as they thought it was going to be.
It's not as easy.
Yeah.
And to areas where people have well-established banking relationships, and we understand that. So we're not asking people to just uproot everything you got and come to us because we're there.
Right.
We're going to go down and we're going to make an impact in the community in every way we can, and we're going to ask people to give us a shot. Let us try and earn your business. We're going to show you that we're a little different, and if we do it right, then it does seem to be, it makes it look easy.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's really not. And to your point, I would agree. I think sometimes, there's a lot of opportunity in Rhode Island. The economy's getting better. People have a little bit more wealth. They're looking for things to do with it that's safe. And I think that there's a trust level with local institutions rather than folks that don't necessarily have a vested interest. I mean, again, there's the big building right there.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. So how close are we now to that being the Navigant Superman
Josh,
building?
I think we're probably a little closer, but we're still pretty far.
We're 3 branches closer, but we're not
right.
quite there.
We're gonna put some money in the branch network first before we go to get a big office building problem.
With a sign.
With a sign.
Yeah, with a giant
That's a
Navigant
giant
sign.
quasar on the top of
Yeah,
it in orange.
that's
It's
right.
really cool.
I got to tell you, from a Rhode Island standpoint, I mean, listen, we're as local can be. Do we touch people all over the world with different interviews? Yeah, we just had Steve Waldman in Skyping in, one of the most interesting people in innovating journalism in the United States. But it's really good to see this kind of reverse of what some of the trends have been. And I got to tell you, I think it all comes down to, those connections and those conversations and commitment. Does it really put you, of the local-owned financial institutions, kind of in the two spot with Washington Trust?
I was doing a little bit of research before I came in just to see where we kind of stood in that. And we're probably, from a banking perspective, financial services marketplace, we're actually like number 4.
Yeah.
Which is
Of
fine.
locally owned?
Of locally owned. So, well, maybe 3, because Citizens Bank is still locally owned.
Yeah.
They came back from RBS,
Right.
so they're locally owned.
Yeah.
So they're kind of at the top
Yeah.
tier. Washington Trust.
Yeah.
I think Bank Rhode Island is next. And
They're a
then
little bit owned out of Massachusetts. though.
they're a little bit owned out of Massachusetts.
I'm
correct.
putting you in the 3 spot.
All right,
I think
I'll
you've
take
got
it.
the 3 spot.
I will take it. I will take it.
And it's got to create a lot of excitement because for so long, up until really the last few years, you were such a northern Rhode Island institution, and now you can start to say, and it makes it a lot easier to have conversations with people and do business with people, and as parochial as we all can be in Rhode Island,
No.
people doing business, it is a state,
Yeah.
and it's a city-state, and people do work across cities and towns, and it's an important element to it.
Yeah, we had a lot of people, a lot of our members would call us almost several times a week, I would think,
Yeah.
to the call center. When are you coming down to South County? When are you going to open up a branch down in Narragansett? When are you going to do this? And that timing is everything.
Yeah, right.
And growing is important, but growing in a very conservative and controlled manner is actually even more important. And for 103 years now, 102 years, that's kind of where we've been.
That's great.
But we did recognize that at some point, we've got the market in Northern Ireland covered. So what's next? Providence, maybe not quite there yet for us, but the opportunities presented themselves.
There's a lot of action.
There we go,
in
a lot of
Providence.
action in Providence, my
Right.
friend Bob. So there's the opportunity in South County presented itself, and specifically in Washington County and Wakefield, and it was a great opportunity. Chartway Federal Credit Union, just their headquarters is in Virginia.
Yeah,
They're
right.
700 miles away. They had this one outlier branch, and even they knew, this is an industry thing too, they knew that it wasn't fair to their members to have a branch so removed from their corporate headquarters. They couldn't, if a light bulb broke, they didn't have a facilities guy that could come up and fix the light bulb, right? I mean, it's little
Right.
things like that.
And you couldn't run down to Benny's anymore to get the
Now
light
you can't go to
bulb.
Benny's anymore
I
to get a
know.
light bulb. Well, you can and get it at 40% off, but there's not many of them on the shelves left.
There's nothing on the shelf.
Oh man. So they if in fairness to their members and in fairness to their staff, wanted to find somebody, a partner, who they felt had shared the same set of values.
Yeah.
And I think we fit the bill for them, and that's why we're hoping this thing is all, by the middle to the end of November, it's a member approved and everything's done deal.
When will the signs be up?
We're hoping before the end of the year.
That's great.
All 3 branches.
And how many branches will that take Navigant to?
That'll take us to 18. And from a branch
Wow.
perspective, we're probably right there behind Washington Trust.
That's great. It's very exciting.
It is.
Uh,
We're stoked. Come on in, Navigant.
Yeah, that's right. Now we got to get you to Providence. We're going to start looking
All right.
for some real estate for you.
All right, that Superman building's probably a lot of our price.
At least you can put an ATM in here.
Oh, this is true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Gary,
We would take
we got to
it.
get on that.
Yeah. We have a lot of guests.
Yeah.
This week we'll be announcing how many guests we've already had.
Really?
Since February.
Well, I've enjoyed it. I mean, my team and I watch this all the time just because we're just curious to see who comes on. And, your regular guests are great and very informative. And we like the surprise people that you get on.
Yeah, I mean, when you get the former Prime Minister of Ireland on one day, you get Ben Mesrick the next, and you just had a New England Revolution player on earlier today, and then you had guys from the Cranston Band. There's never a dull and never a not fun afternoon
I know.
here.
It's great.
And by the way, 18 will be completely insane with the election cycle.
Oh, I know.
So we'll be making some announcements on how we're going to handle that, a little expansion and
You'll
some
be
other
busy
things.
next year. I've got
Yeah.
busyness up until the end of the year.
Yeah,
You get
that's
busy
right.
in the next year.
So let us know all the milestones. We want to
Yeah.
be there for the
Great.
kickoffs
Yep.
and things like that. And congratulations on the growth. It's a great Rhode Island story. We love to see it. I think all of us are looking for a great win in the local Rhode Island economy of somebody who's really expanding and growing in this kind of period of time.
Can I give a little plug for a second?
Yeah, please.
So we have a job fair coming up. See,
Oh, great.
this is really what the expansion's been
Yeah.
about. We should be employing somewhere around 15 new people,
That's
like
right.
new, not
Yeah,
even
yeah.
replacements. Branch managers, assistant tellers for these two locations. We're going to have a job fair on October 17th at what is essentially the Warwick location. I don't have all the details yet, but if you're interested in applying for any of those positions, just go to our website. There's a careers
Get
tab
it
at
to
the
us,
bottom.
we'll push it out as
Get it
well.
to these guys here, they'll get it back to us. The job fair, you get interviewed. If you're really good, you get a second interview all at the same time. And who knows how fast we get you hired. And we'll start a class, an orientation class on November 6th. So
I think
full
that's
speed
great.
ahead.
There's a rule in advertising agencies. Every advertising agency needs to have a bank because that gives you some stability. And I think every state needs to have locally owned financial institutions. It's absolutely critical to local lending and growing businesses as well as supporting local folks in a time where credit and financing are more complicated than ever before after 07 and 08.
It's good to have somebody you can talk to.
Yeah. Tim Draper, guru of marketing at Navigant Credit Union, and appreciate